Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Advanced Audiology. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Gene Dorio,
on your hometown station AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And this morning we have Arif Halaby of Total Financial Solutions. Good morning,
Hi.
sir. It's good
How are
to
you?
see you again.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Okay, what's the topic?
Well, gosh, after people retire, they think they're supposed to live exactly the same way. Now, certainly financially, if you set yourself up, no problem. But we spend the most amount of money in our working life on Saturday. Retailers know it. Restaurants know it. The most amount of money you spend believe it or not, in a week.
Saturday?
Yeah.
On a Saturday?
And retirement is considered a lifetime of Saturdays.
You know, that's right.
You know, that's very interesting.
Yes.
Although I don't feel that way, because if I did all my spending on Saturday, it would be everybody in the world. I wouldn't even be able to move around anywhere.
Well,
so I have always chosen to do my shopping and going places
Yes.
during the week.
And you know, when I had a schedule that I could adjust, I was with you. I'd go to the movies on a Tuesday, and go to the mall on a Friday when everybody's still at work. But what it really does is, as that moment comes and retirement is here, and we start to look at that, people forget that we don't just spend money for necessities. You spend money to feel good. And I'm sure a psychologist or psychiatrist could give you a lot more on the psychology side of things, of course. But we see the financial side. And what we see is people buy things just because it makes them feel good. And I'll give you a good example. A particular client, and she financially they're struggling a little bit. They're doing okay, but nothing too exciting. And she is a little lonely and that kind of thing. And her husband works a lot. So she'll go out and she'll buy purses.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Purses on Saturday?
All the time.
All the time.
So she buys things that make her feel good, and purses and accessories make her feel good. But her husband put his foot down and said, enough is enough. You can't just keep doing this. How many purses can you carry, right? The old story. So she'll still buy them, and she gets a high. She gets an excitement when you buy it, sets it off to the side, actually in the back of the closet. And then once she has a handful of them, she'll then turn around and donate them.
Oh.
And she now gets a second high.
Yes, I can understand that.
So,
I can understand that.
Do you see
make
how
you
we
feel
can
good.
do that? And they don't have to be $5,000 purses from Louis Vuitton or whatever. It can be $20, $50, whatever the prices are. But the purpose of it is not the material; it's how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
So now imagine that you don't have a job, or people that are counting on you, or your grandchildren have moved away, and yes, they'll see you, but on the holidays and every other weekend, and Jimmy's busy this weekend, and Susie's busy this weekend, and so now you have a lifetime of Saturdays. And one of the mistakes people make is they don't find a place of purpose that they used to have fulfilled, even with all the negatives and all the whining and complaining we all do. Oh, it's Monday. Oh, I can't wait for Friday, right? All of us do that. But take that away. Take that away from people. And you look around and nobody's expecting you anywhere tomorrow. Nobody cares whether you show up early, late, at all. And that's a problem. And so we often fill that void with financial means. The fastest growing segment of people that file bankruptcies are seniors.
Fastest?
Fastest.
Really?
And the number one occupation of people that file bankruptcies are physicians.
Wow. Well, I'm going to do it on a Saturday.
Yeah. So if you're a senior physician, get out of the way. And because the purpose is this, I say that from the physician standpoint. I forgot, Dr. Dorio, but it's because we think, the people have to be smart. Oh my gosh, who can be, in our society more intelligent and educated than a physician? So it's not just about being smart. It's not just about our seniors being smart. It's about them understanding how money works and the purpose and what it does and all of those things. So we often will fill that void, financially speaking. So one of the mistakes we see, people get to retirement, they don't have something to do, they replace it with spending money, similar to how we did on a Saturday, which is wonderful. You can look at any...
Every day's a Saturday, though.
Every day is a Saturday, that's right.
Wow.
How interesting.
Fascinating,
How
huh?
interesting. That's very interesting, because when I retired, I volunteered. I
But
gave
you had purpose.
back.
You gave you
That's,
purpose.
That's right, it did. And I was volunteering some during the time I was working. Fortunately, I was able to work at home and take care of my kids and see them grow up. And
That's an
out.
amazing thing.
But I also did volunteering, minor,
Yes.
a little bit. And when I retired, I had more to look forward to, because this community has been so good to me over the many years I've lived here, since 1968. And so many organizations, so many people who have really loved me and helped me when I've needed it.
Yes.
And I thought, I want to give back.
Yes.
And it's such a good feeling to be able to give back.
It
By
is.
volunteering,
Yes.
not giving purses.
No, not giving purses.
And it's
I don't have that many.
Not yet.
it's even more so down the road, I think, of that continuation of who you were and what you were and your value. Because as we look, all of us want to be important somewhere. Sometimes people are important by being the grouchy old neighbor who always gets involved in the HOA, right? The guy or gal who sits in the back or who's always got to complain about something at the homeowners association meeting. That is actually where that person feels their value. We may not agree with it. We may go, this person's a pain in the butt and causing a lot of problems. But that's another place. And if that person was used to being that way their whole life, being the antagonist, they just carry it over into retirement. It's just like if you're used to going through financially in life, giving a little bit of money. When we started saving and investing, we got married young. I was 23, my wife was 21. And I said this. I said, I want to help and give. And she goes, well, why don't we just start saving first? And I said, because I want to build a habit of giving. I want to build a habit financially speaking, so I can give $10 when I have 100 and then $100 when I have 1,000.
Good for you.
So that the part of, it's not an incident. It's not a moment in time. Giving and charity should be a lifestyle. And that is the same thing financially with our habits and our purpose. It should be a lifestyle. So make sure that you're not just spending your money like we do on a Saturday, 7 days a week.
Buying purses.
Yes. Oh, I can give you 50 stories. My gosh. We have everything under the sun. Sometimes people will literally create chaos so that they can resolve the chaos. I mean, you
Sure.
probably know people in your life that
Sure.
like that.
Yes.
Now add, from my point of view, the financial component of that, right? They'll create a financial headache, and it's almost like a fight, and then you got to come out on the other side. Now, but do that when you're retired, and the backup plan that you have, which is, well, I can just work overtime this weekend, doesn't exist because you're
That's right.
retired.
That's right.
So you create chaos and you live on the edge. And one of the next mistakes people make is they forget to start moving in a much more conservative nature. And I don't mean bonds, right? I love it when people say, oh, I have stocks and bonds, small companies, big companies. That's all the same seats on the same bus. If you're sitting in the bus and you're in the front left or the middle right or the right, right back of the bus, you're still in the same vehicle. It might take you a little longer if you go over a cliff to hit the bottom, but you're still going to hit the bottom. So we go, look, get out of that vehicle. If you want to be in the
Right.
stock market, that is that bus. That's that vehicle. But how about you get out into a little VW Bug, or you get out onto a bicycle? You know what? You're going to go forward, not very fast, but you can see the
Still
cliff
the
coming
same.
and still make a change before you go over the
That's right.
edge.
That's right.
So that's kind of our perspective, is to not take undue risk, especially if you're somebody who used to create chaos, and that's how you thrived.
But if you have a person who doesn't create chaos, but they've just retired, the undue risk part about that is still exists. And if they, have for years and years, played in the stock market, and as it goes up, it goes down. 2008 hits, everybody's scrambling at that point. If you retired that year, you're probably in a little bit of trouble. How does one, though, Arif, look at what they have, their nest egg, and say, okay, now I'm retired, I have to, move things around to make sure that the bus, if it goes over the cliff, I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Usually we say it's your age minus 100. So if you're 70 years old, you want to have 30% at risk, that's fine. The 70% should be safe. And when we say safe, we mean non-correlated. So if the market goes over the cliff, you don't follow it. But it's also, I think, a little deeper than that. Remember who makes all these numbers up. It's the same Wall Street guys that are trying to
people.
fee your money from noon to look. Their goal is to make money whether you make money or not. You can say it's bad or good. It just is. If they were to make money or to create a retirement system or stock market system or whatever that said, all right, you're a great client. I'm going to make 30% of your profit. So if the market goes up, you get to make 70, I make 30. Oh, wait, you're a really good client. You have $10 million with me. I'm willing to negotiate with you and make it 10%. So I only get 10% of the profits and you get 90. Do you know that's illegal? Most people can't do that. So in other words, you pay for your broker, the Wall Street guys, and they make money whether you make money or not.
Yep.
They fee it and they fee the same dollar they feed last year. It's not like they fee any new money. So you have to be very careful. There is no such thing as a reasonable fee if they're not delivering on the other side.
If a person has not been in the stock market and now they're retired, I mean, don't you, Arif, have a little bit of fear for them that they're going to think that it's a crap roll, that they could lose everything, their whole nest egg?
That's why we don't do that. I used to be the guy that put everybody in the market. Well, when I'm young, when I'm in my 20s, I don't understand the perspective of somebody who today, as I'm now I'll be 50 in a bit. The idea is to realize that you want a broker that's older than the shoes you have. and you want somebody who's not transferring their risk profile onto you. And look, I don't think there's different models, and it's always about the performance. The biggest mistake people can make is take the same amount of risk with the money that today now has to give them food, shelter, and clothing, as opposed to their job gave them food, shelter, and clothing. And their assets and accounts can go up and down because they had time. Well, that time is come and gone. You may still want some risk, whatever that number is, 10, 20, 30%, whatever it is.
But not the whole thing.
Never. Not in my opinion. My opinion
agree.
is I would never do that, just because I don't think you have to. Right?
Well,
you can achieve.
There are safe investments, aren't there?
There are safer places that you can put.
And maybe you would want to put a certain amount of money in a safe place.
That's right.
But then there are other investments that, maybe we'll get 20% return.
That's right.
And maybe at one point we'll get 3% return.
Or you could lose all of it.
Yes. Well, yes, but if you have some that is safe.
And here's what we say. Look, you say how long. So you might say, okay, let's just say if it's out of 100, right? Whatever that number is. Out of 100, you say, I'm going to need money that's going to go up and down, but I need 5 years worth of money, so that if the market drops, I have 5 years worth of living, which means I have 5 years for the market to come back. So if my expenses are $40,000 a year times 5, that's $200,000. So sitting in the bank, money market, whatever it is, in a safe place that I can drip from that to give time for the market to recover. If you think it takes 5 years for it to come back, or 2 years, or 6 years, or whatever that number is, just do the math. And that is the bottom dollar, don't touch, sits in the corner, kind of forget that it's there. That's the worst case scenario. And then the rest of it, divide it by 50-50 or whatever it is that works. The idea is to have some of it at risk so you can keep up and maintain and beat inflation. Great.
Or play with, so to speak.
Look, we had a client, she was in her 70s. She would wake up early, go to sleep late. She was watching the Asian markets and the European markets. And my goodness, and, she knew stuff that some brokers I know didn't know. And she's buying and trading, and she had lots of money set aside. But she didn't need that risk. She had it all in the risk world. And I said, okay, how much do you want to play? And her kids, so her boys were with her, and they said, well, Mom, what do you think about $25,000? Okay. So she could still keep her mind active, feel like she's having fun. All of us may have a little bit of an edge of gambling. In her case, that was part of what this fed. So she had $25,000. Well, she had, $1.3 million over here that nobody touched. But the $25,000 she could play with. And she still felt like
that would be exciting.
For her, it was.
Oh yes.
And she would come into the office and she would, I made $5,000. Oh, I made and it was just as exciting.
Like
for
going
her.
to Vegas and
Yes.
won a slot.
And you set aside, okay, I can afford to lose this when you go to Vegas and you put those dollars in the left pocket in the right pocket and you say, I'm going to gamble this, but once it's done, it's over.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
And on occasion, I've come home with a lot more than I went with.
And that's always fun, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is a lot of fun.
Yes. And you think that you're...
If I was there, I think I would go broke. I really do.
A lot of people move there for that.
I
Yes.
know, but it's a good thing for me personally that I don't live either in Laughlin or Reno or Las Vegas.
I can see it.
I would... I'd spend a lot of time there. I really would.
It's a fun...
I love it. It's fun.
It is. I think if
and you meet all kinds of people.
You do. And Las Vegas, and especially, and certainly Laughlin and Reno, they cater to that you're there for 3 days, 4 days. There's a time frame. They know that it gets old after a while. You can do a period of time there, whatever that number is. I think they build the city, the activities, and the life cycle. I want to say it's either 3 or 4 days. And so you have dinner and it comes in, and you're back out. And so that's why you'll notice that the conferences and conventions are about 3 days.
Well, it's interesting because I've been going with the seniors, and that bus is usually full, all seniors.
With money on the way and empty on the way back.
And what do you
But you know that that's what they go for, though.
Oh yeah, and it's the excitement of life.
It is, and it's something to look forward to. It's fun because you're with all of your friends who are all doing the same thing, and you leave maybe on a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday morning and come back Tuesday afternoon.
Oh, there you go. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's 3 days.
It's 3 days.
Yeah.
Usually
Not
3
Saturday.
days.
Yeah, not Saturday.
No, not Saturday. Or if you go Friday, Saturday, and come home Sunday, then you're really hitting a lot of traffic.
That's right.
But no, it's a fun thing to do. It really is.
It's a unique part of life is to have a chance, the game of chance. You can go back in Greek and Roman history, and there were games of chance, if you will, gambling, going all the way back 2,000, 4,000 years plus. And people played that. The human nature, it doesn't change. Just don't do it with your retirement account.
That's right. The retirement account
life
needs
savings.
to stay there.
Yes.
And I think we need to take a break. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.